All right, what's up, Dragon Brood? Today, we are going to be doing something a little bit different because I started thinking, like, y'all really like those landfall decks. And you seem to really like Gruul decks. And when I went through my videos, I realized I hadn't done Gruul Landfall in a couple of sets. So why not? We've tried Landfall with all these other things in it. We know it works with a third or fourth color. So why don't we just see if it still works as the OG red-green Landfall deck? That's what we're going to do today. So we're going to hop right in and take a look at what Gruul Landfall looks like in the current standard. If you want to support the channel, remember to check out shop.ultrapro.com/PowrDragn and use promo code PowrDragn. You'll save 5% on everything you order over there at UltraPro, and that includes all the new sweet stuff from their Lemon Yellow collection this month. All right, as always, if you haven't yet, be sure to check the memberships down below and get lots of cool stuff, free things, and even get your videos featured, your decks featured here on these videos. All right, so going down the list, there's not going to be a whole lot of surprises here. We kind of know what we're doing, but we are going to be making a few very strategic choices, and we'll talk about those. So we're starting at the top with the Coom Hellhound because we don't have many one-drops to play that are worthwhile. Though I will say, in deck building, I did consider the 2/2 that makes you return a land to your hand, mostly because we do have stuff in here that could trigger landfall multiple times that could be beneficial. My problem with it, though, is that even though it is a 2/2 with haste, every time you connect, you have to return a land, and I didn't necessarily want to be doing that early in the game, so I don't know. It's something, maybe. We'll see how the games go. Maybe we come back to playing that, but at least wanted to make that a consideration. So really talking about. Matter of fact, I believe it's a return, land, damage. This guy, the Wayward Guide Beast. So it's a 1-mana 2/2, haste, trample. Maybe it's something we could play. Like I said, not likely, because you do also have to connect to get to return the land, and there's enough aggro decks that your opponent may just block it, so it could be irrelevant. If I had more ways to pump it, I'd probably consider it, but we don't, so didn't really make the list. But I at least wanted to talk about that and bring it up, because it is a card I was considering. All right, so anyway, we have the Hellhound, Landfall, becomes a 2/2, or becomes a 2/3, love it. Now we're playing Druid class. Now I want to point out the main reason we're playing Druid class is because we are playing Exploration. So we have the option of getting extra land triggers. But the biggest thing about this really is level 3, because late in the game it gives us an opportunity that if our board gets swept, because we do have a lot of small creatures when they're not under the landfall triggers, this gives us the ability to attack with a 7, 8, 10 power creature. So we can, if we're strategic about it, we do have a couple of late game plays that we can really pressure the opponent with. And that's the biggest benefit here. Now we're playing Lotus Cobra because we get all that free mana, and we can do all the stuff with the cards we're drawing, all that good stuff. Brushfire Elemental. Now this is one of the best cards in the deck. And I know it doesn't look like it because we have so many other powerful things, but the fact that this can't be blocked by 2 power creatures or less is a big deal, because there's a lot of tokens being made right now. The Gruul, not Gruul, but the Boros aggro decks, the mono white aggro decks, like they all have little small bodies. This can be a game winner off the top by itself, especially if you have 1 or 2 ways to play a couple of lands and your opponent's at 5 or 6. This is just a winner off the top with haste. So don't underestimate this card. You may even keep one backed up in hand sometimes if you just want that haster for a lot of damage after a sweeper. Valakut Exploration, obviously this is good. I also want to point out something about Exploration. Is if you're playing against these slower control type decks, maybe even some of the mid-rangey decks, though they tend to have more answers, this card, it can be a winner by itself. You can get into a situation where just this is incidentally doing 1, 3, 4 damage a turn just by itself, and getting you access to other cards. So like you can opt to play them or not, and then just get direct damage to the opponent. And a lot of times they're not pressuring you all that fast, so you're going to end up with like 3 or 4 turns to possibly get about 6 damage in there, if not more. So be careful about when you run this out. If you can get it around counters and get it to stick, it could be a very important card in those matchups. Then, of course, Kazandu Mammoth, because it happens to be a big body, but also can be a land if we need it to be. Of course, we're playing Scoot Swarm, no surprise there. We're playing 3 Topiary Stompers. I argued if this list should have 4 of these. You know, I'm not sure. I'm still not sure, even after thinking about it some more, but we're going to go with 3 and see what happens. We're playing 3 Splendid Reclamation. This is another card that maybe you could play a 4th one of. Don't know if it's necessary or not, but it's possible. And then we're playing 2 Ashaya, Soul of the Wild. Now, the reason we like Ashaya in here is because it does a ton of stuff, right? Ashaya triggers the Scoot Swarms, obviously, and then you can kind of go bananas. Also lets us get extra triggers off Explorations, And the big thing there is that it lets your other creatures, non-token creatures anyway, count as lands that you can tap as well. So if you get something off the top, you can play that and boom, and just kind of keep the whole thing going. Which is really big because again, if we get something like Brushfire Elemental, we could play that in the middle of pseudo comboing, right? And then itself will trigger because, you know, it's another landfall, blah, blah. So then it becomes this whole mess. So yeah, lots of cool stuff we do with the Shy. And Shy is just a big late game body as well. I mean, you play it, a lot of times it's going to be 8, 10, 12 power, and it's just another thing the opponent has to deal with. And it's not too hard for us to cast, especially with the Cobra. However, I do want to say, be very careful if you're going to try to run this out on like turn 3 under a Cobra. I don't know if it's really the thing you necessarily want to do. Oh, I say that on turn 3, probably on turn 4, but just keep it in mind. Like, can you play it early? Yes. Do you always want to play it early? I don't know if that's the case because the Shy would be very small, so you're not getting a lot of value out of it, and you don't really have a board built up where you can get 3, 4, 5 triggers for having the Shy hit the board. So really, a Shy is like truly, even though we have the ability to ramp, it's truly like a 6 or a 7 turn play a lot of the times, unless maybe you've gone like, I don't know, let's say Hellhound, Elemental, something, maybe Kazandu Mammoth, and then just playing a Shia is just going to let you trigger everything, and that's enough to cause your opponent to have to block all the stuff or not die, right? Something like that. Maybe there's a world where that matters, but yeah, just keep that in mind. Don't rush it out there too quickly if you don't have to. The rest of the deck's pretty easy. It's going to be all of our lands, so we've got 4 Mountains, 7 Forests, 2 Crag Crown Pathway, 3 Brokers Hideouts, 4 Cabaret Courtyard, and 4 Riveteers Overlook. Now, one of the things I do want to point out, and by the way, Brokers Hideout only goes and gets Forest relevant to this deck, but we are playing more green things, so that's fine. The one thing I am playing here is 2 Crag Crown Pathway, and I know you're probably wondering, like, well, we can't search for those while we're playing them. I'm kind of hedging our bets a little bit so we still can play stuff on turn 1 or turn 2. Now, granted, it is only 2 of them, so it may not come up enough to matter, but I'm giving myself enough flexibility that we can play the key cards we need to play. But again, maybe overthinking it. We'll find out after we play the games. But as always, we're going to play the games, and then at the end of all those games, you can catch me at the end of the video. We'll talk about what we'd update or change about the list, and we'll have a card spotlight for you. So I'll catch you on the other side. Okay, we get to go first, but what do we do with this is the real question. I guess we keep it, use one of these to go find a red land. Let's get some mountains. Let's do that. We'll probably just play a turn 2 Druid class, I guess, unless maybe we find a Brushfire Elemental or something. Can't imagine we want anything else here. Oh, well, this is going to be a bit of a problem to race now, isn't it? What if... I'm just thinking like the order. Like if we play this, then we play this. We could play a land, trigger that twice. Next turn... I mean... that doesn't really get us where we want to go, but I guess we got to try, huh? All right. This may not even survive, depending on what they're playing. This might just get shot here. I'm pretty sure it's going to. Yep, we can't block. Good news is, okay, they tapped for us, so we will get some damage out of it. That's not bad to draw here. All right, so we'll do this first so we can get some life as well, because it looks like we're going to need it. They're going to be spending their mana equipping, it looks like. Go ahead and get green right now. Get some extra life, so we go to 23. Get the smash for 4. We get the Topiary Stomper. Get a land, puts us at 4. Play a land, puts us at 5. That sets up Scoot Swarm pretty well, especially if we can find another land would be nice. All right, opponent comes in. We're going to take 4, or take 3, I guess. Now, the downside is those Dubers do first strike, which we hate, which sucks. But we can get a lot of lands into play here, so that's mostly okay. Question is, if we level here... Nah, we want to get this Topiary Stomper down first, I think. Just wondering if I want the Kazandu Mammoth to be one of the lands here. And I think the answer is yes. We probably need one of these. That would be 6 or 5. This seems to, yeah, we got to do this. We got to do this. Guess we don't have to, but It feels like the smarter of the plays here. All right, they're going to block and just return the Raptor, I guess. I mean, I'm kind of okay with this. If this is how the opponent's spending their mana, like play a creature, equip, whatever, like, we're fine. I mean, like, I see the opponent, they're like, okay, well, I'm going to block all your stuff and get to play my things, but it's like, they're not really making any progress. So we're actually cool with this. Let's level this up first. Oh, no, wait, that cost 3. Oh, I wasn't even paying attention. Gosh dang it. I was thinking it was... Oh, I thought it was 2 for some reason. Oh, well. Tis what it is. We just missed an important trigger. It'll have to be all right. We have a Cabaret Charm in hand, sure. I mean, because we can't really attack with Topiary Stomper anyway, unless we just want to give it up, because the opponent's going to be able to block with 2 things. So there's that. All right. And then I'm just going to assume we play this. The opponent's going to do the same thing next turn. So though we can play another land, I'm going to go ahead and wait because we can maximize Scoot Swarms next turn, just for my silliness. I should have played Scoot Swarm first there, and I already had like 4 extra swarms. So that's my stupidity. Got to play with cards more often. All right. This is pretty much what we're looking for. So let's level this up. Since now we have 6 mana, we'll go ahead and play this for our first land. I mean, who knows? Maybe they have some weird sweeper or something. I don't even know if we should... I guess we go ahead and play it, because... What's the worst that happens? We end up just making more lands next turn. Or, I mean, turning our lands into creatures. So, sure. I mean, the funny thing is, the opponent's been attacking for 3 a turn, and we're still at 26, so we're not concerned about that. All right, they're willing to kill both these, so I'm wondering if this does mean they have some type of sweeper. Not sure what it'd be, but we'll see. Though, even if we get left with just a Topiary Stomper, we'll just take back-to-back turns and turn our lands into 8/8s, and that's still pretty strong. Yeah, these Raptors are not going to be nearly enough. Oh, they're setting up to try to sweep the board. All right, so now it comes a real question. If we make this an 8, they block, they take 4, 5, and 7 is 12. And then they tap out to sweep the board, and then we hit them with the other thing. Yeah, so I guess we do this anyway, right? I'm just thinking if they block here and take 7, they go to 9. We don't have enough to kill them because this is only going to be an 8. So, yeah, I think we have to give up one of these lands. Kind of all right, though. I'm into it. And just assume we're going to lose our board. That's okay. Like... Oh, actually, you know what? If they find a land, they can actually sweep our board and then play their other 1/1. Oh, no, they don't have the other 1/1. They just played it, right? Yeah, okay. That's fine. So our land gets to kill them. Nope, they have a Fearless Pup. Gosh dang it. This is actually really good as a backup plan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's go ahead. Can we not? What's, oh, that's the one that's leveled up. We'll come after them with the 7/7 here. Since everything's on blocking duty now. And it might be worth it to just... I don't know here. We'll see. Adversary, sure. And then equip the adversaries so you can keep getting it back. Makes sense. I can respect that. We got a second Ashaya, though, so I will go ahead and play this. If we would have got another land, I would have considered comboing these, but this is fine. All right. So now the opponent is going to gain some life, but this is now in a situation where probably is just going to take their full turn to stay alive here. Unless they have another sweeper. They could just land in Doomscar, I suppose. Yep. This is a funny combo, though, the opponent's got. Like, just trying to stay alive. I would not recommend it, but, you know, is what it is. If we play this, this becomes a 9. Actually, they both become 9s, but then they're going to gain 5, so they go to 14. They just go back to 5. Yeah, we just play this tapped, right? Seems fine. Attack. I have a feeling they're just looking for land in Doomscar. Alright, so they're going to end up at 5 here. So now if we find a land... Actually, well, if we just play Scoot Swarm next turn, that's going to count as a 10th land. So opponent has to gain more than 5 here or sweep the board. This might do it. Because they're looking at probably removing one of them, but they'd have to remove something and have a blocker, which maybe they still do. Okay, Brutal Cathar's legit. That's a real blocker. That's a real thing. Sure, we get our land back, which is kind of funny. Alright. So then that's going to trigger a bunch of things. Question is if we need to do this or not. I mean, opponent's at 5. I mean, you know what? I guess we do just to thin the deck and see if we can find something else relevant. Because at this point, I mean, maybe if we could find like an exploration or something like that's beneficial. But we don't have that many lands left. But land Doomscar and we're pretty much toast. But it looks like they don't have it, because they would have played it immediately. Nope, that adversary is not going to be nearly good enough. Yeah, if the plane's just equip adversary, that's not going to cut it. Yeah, we have too much damage. Even if you block the 11, that's still 16. Yeah, I get it. You're just playing cards for sport, or whatever. Alright, cool. Opponent goes first. This hand's interesting, honestly. I think we keep it. I mean, obviously, it's a hand where we'd like to have more big stuff, but... Okay, and they didn't have a card to kill our Hellhound. This is nice. We like that. Not to say they don't have one now. Nope, it's a vampire deck, so this will be interesting. Let's... Cobra up here. Actually, I should have done that first, but it wouldn't really... Well, it doesn't matter. Wouldn't have changed anything. We couldn't because we didn't have mana. Never mind. All right. Attacking for 2. Now, the good thing here is next turn we can Brushfire Elemental. We'll get 2 triggers off the Cobra. We can play the Druid class. Though they might actually try to kill the Cobra here and not let us get too far ahead mana-wise. Which would make a lot of sense, honestly. But who knows what they're going to try to play here. They're attacking. We are not blocking. Epicure, all right. And another vampire, or I was thinking another socialite maybe. Might have been up their alley, but nope. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and play this. They might just be triggering for these. Let's go ahead and get another forest while we're thinking about it. And then I guess we'll just, like I said, just play a Druid class is where we're at here. And the opponent just gives up. Oh boy. These are always tough with all the tap lane and stuff. I think we keep Hellhound, keep this hand. We can turn 2. I mean, turn 2 Hellhound is not the best thing, right? But maybe it has to be. All right. Got to keep for science sometimes just to find out. Yep. That gets only a forest, so this will have to go and get a mountain. I think is going to be our gameplay here, our game plan. And we'll just have to see what the opponent's up to. I mean, if the opponent's on Boros aggro and just has a bunch of burn spells, we're just going to be in trouble with this one. Okay, it's not, so that's maybe a good sign. Don't know. If it's Azorius Control, we're going to be looking for explorations, because that's usually one of our outs. If this is any type of like Azorius spell deck or something, Azorius Tempo, it's going to be a tough game. Going to be a tough one. Healing Potion. All right, so I'm going to assume this is some type of control deck. Or else that play doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Let's go ahead and use one of these to go get a Foresta. I mean, our life total's probably not going to matter much in this game till the very end, I'd imagine. We do have to be careful because Wandering Emperor is going to be real sad for us. So, you know, that's going to be a problem. Maybe there's a world where we can keep Scoot Swarm for like a real late game situation. Sit on the Druid classes to maybe have big bodies post Sweeper. I mean, I'm kind of just going through scenarios of like what could work for us over the next few turns. Give us some options. Like if we get an untapped green source here, I'm probably just going to straight up play the Mammoth. Okay, we didn't get one. So that doesn't change things too much. Other than we could play another Hellhound and then just use a Broker's Hideout. Because I have a feeling whatever we play is going to end up getting countered here, and I don't know if I want to walk into that just yet. So maybe we just play this tapped. Man, yeah, this might just be too conservative, but I'm willing to do what we got to do here. Saving this to just get more damage next turn if the Hellhounds survive. I might get Fading Hoped or something here. I mean, I wouldn't fault them at all if they did. Oh no, just March. Okay, same difference, though they don't get to Scry, so I guess that's better for us. I got another one? Want to get rid of both our things? Nope. Alright. Okay. Oh. So is this Azorius Artifacts? This... I don't... I'm going to be honest with y'all. I don't really know what we're up against right now. I'm assuming that's a Doomscar, so whatever. That part, you know, fine. But... Let's see. If we think this is a Doomscar and they're going to sweep our board, we can get to 4 lands. We could play Druid class, play a land. I mean, I guess this is what we do? I say that with all the confidence of 0 confidence, but here we are. Oh, I guess we still didn't play a land that turn. I think I still want that for other things, though. That's fine. I mean, we could have got 4 more points in, so that is a real thing, if that's not a Doomscar. I mean, we could have just went for it, but... Alright. Now we have to assume that the opponent's probably playing on something like a Wandering Emperor. So let's go with this. See how they feel about it. Okay, so it was a Saw It Coming. That's what that was. Okay. Not to say they don't have a Doomscar. I still believe they do, honestly. But let's go ahead and get this down. Or at least attempt to. Might get countered. I'm willing to accept that Doomscar's just in our future. That's fine. I think right now our plan is, can we stick Scoot Swarm plus Splendid Reclamation after the board gets swept? We need 2 turns for that, though. The Biblioplex. Alright, they can straight up Doomscar here. Depopulate, kind of the same thing. Ooh, okay. Do we just do this now? Or do we... Nope, we don't. You know what? We do this. And we just say, opponent, find another answer. If you have another sweeper, you got another sweeper. We'll just have to be in the market for that. All right, they had a fateful absence. So be it. We didn't get a value off of it, but that's okay. Sometimes it's like that. Let's draw. Ooh, that kind of sucks. I'm not going to lie. It's not what we wanted to see there. All right. Unfortunately, we have all 3 of our Splendid Reclamations in hand. And nothing to take advantage of it. But like I said, once I realized we were on some type of control deck that we were up against, this is where we actually really want to stick something like this. Whether it's going to stick or not, probably not. But it's probably just going to get negated. But sometimes you got to try. Oh, just I saw it coming. Okay, I'm surprised they didn't foretell that. Not that it mattered either way. They were still going to be able to counter it. Now, they do have March of Otherworldly Light, which we know is a thing. What do we do here? I think we try to get them to counter one of these. And I'm actually not going to search. I'll search for 1 land, actually, because we want to get to 7. That's kind of the key here. All right. This was mostly just a bait counter, honestly. We didn't even care that that got countered. I'm just mostly trying to clear the path for other things. My guess is it's an opponent that's just playing a ton of counters. So we only can do so much to get them to use them all. I'm not completely sure what their win condition is here. So they're tapping for colorless for something. All right. So I'm assuming that means they still left a counter in hand. That's probably a Doomscar. But what are we going to do about it? See if you got it. I mean, if they do, they do. Get this. I mean, they Doomscar. We turn a land into a creature. Try to get in for an attack. Hopefully it doesn't get killed by a March. Another depopulate. Sure. Oh, that ain't bad. That ain't bad at all. Come on with it. Heck yeah. Is this going to do it by itself? Please. Oh, they don't even have it. Yeah, this is going to kill them. What a sick top deck. How sick is that? All those counters, and we just got... Because it doesn't look like they have a Fading Hope. There's not even any pauses here. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. I think whether we use one of our fetch lands or not is going to depend on what we draw here. Ooh, another Brushfire Elemental. I mean, I guess we don't use them now, because if our first Brushfire Elemental dies, then maybe the second one lives. The downside is we won't be able to play a turn 3 thing unless we draw an untapped land. So maybe I should have used one of them on turn 1. So we actually would have had 2 land coming up, and then 3 land the following turn. Because right now, I think that's going to be the issue. But we'll see. This is probably just going to get hit with the Azorius Disruption. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe they shoot it. I have no idea. It's just going to be a 1-1. It'll die easily here. Oh, they're going to use Make Disappear. All right. That's actually not the worst thing. I mean, that feels kind of bad, but it's really not. All things considered. Check for traps. All right. You get things, opponent. You get things. You probably take the Brushfire Elemental here, because it's the only thing we can actually cast. They're reading all of our cards, it looks like. I would take the Elemental, because if we don't draw... And again, this wasn't something I thought about, but like, this kind of comes back to what we were just talking about. By not playing one of these turn 1, I actually set myself up for a worse situation here. All right, they're getting rid of the Topiary Stomper. This leads me to believe that maybe on some level, they have a bunch of stuff that costs or deals maybe 2 or 3 damage, and they weren't able to kill the Topiary Stomper. So the question I'm wondering now is, do we just run the Hellhound out, but the opponent doesn't? You know, we're just not. We're just going to do this. And if you got it, you got it. I mean, I'm willing to just let this be what it is. I think they're going to be able to kill it, or they wouldn't have let us keep it. And I will admit, this is kind of a little bit of the downside of being able to play these lands instead of true fetch lands, is you can't save them for defense, right? Like if you wanted to leave one up and then maybe search on your opponent's turn, so we get just the ETB trigger, and then we could search and maybe protect something from like a 1 or 2 damage spell. You can't really do that right now. Alright, so good news is that cannot block a Brushfire Elemental. Now, if they just kill it, they just kill it. There's nothing we can do about it. It'll just be what it is, unfortunately. And it looks like, I guess, they do have a way to kill it. And maybe they just want to respond here. Okay. If we play Cobra, we just get 1, 2, 3 mana, so we're still going to end up with just the Mammoth in play. Might be setting ourselves up to get meat hooked, too. I mean, that's another reality. But let's see. Let's see what you got. We'll do this just to get green, I suppose. Not that we really need it. Maybe we need to get red with that, honestly. I mean, we're going to need to get green from the Cobra, but okay. Obviously, they had a way to kill that, so that's not a shocker. We kind of knew that. Not 100%. I mean, I guess I know why they waited, but in a way, it is a little bit of a mistake from the opponent. But it's not going to affect anything, I don't believe. We'll just go ahead and play this. So we can block the 2/2, though we set ourselves up to have it be shot down or whatever. And then we'll just try to get work done with whatever we draw. Possibly something like an Ashaya or something would be really great. But we'll see. Expressive Iteration goes probably looking for a removal card if I were guessing. And a land? Yep, most definitely a land. So pretty much all types of spells we can think of are unlocked here for the opponent. A Wandering Mind, that also lets them search, right? Yeah, look at the top 6. Reveal a non-creature card, non-creature, non-land, and put it into their hand. The rest go to the bottom. Alright, that is good to know. However, do they run their creature in to produce a treasure so they can kill our mammoth? That would be the question here. They are not, but this is kind of interesting, right? So let's go ahead and do this. We'll do this. We do get a bunch of triggers here. Oh, the Ashaya, we're not going to be able to play it. Oh, no. Oh, that sucks. That sucks. Man, that would have been so big. That would have been so big. Boy. Opponent got bailed out on this one. For sure. Yep. Alright. I guess we just go ahead and do this, because we can't do anything else with the rest of our mana. I say we attack. Question is, do we attack with the Cobra? I don't think we do. Because Cobra can at least block and kill something. And I think we're okay with that. Because they're going to have to, I'm assuming, because they don't have any other artifacts. So they're going to have to run in, put the 2/2 at risk, just to produce a treasure. Unless they have an artifact in hand, so they can kill our mammoth. Otherwise, they're just going to be in chump block mode. If we find a land. We may not even find a land, right? That could be the real thing here. Yeah, now with the opponent at 5, this does call in a question, right? Because if we don't block, they still sacrifice that, kill our mammoth. Then we've got Cobra plus Hellhound plus whatever damage we get off the exploration. Kind of sucks, but I'm going to let them have it. Like, us having another attacker, I think, is more important than killing a 2/2 here. Now, they do have 3 cards in hand, so they might still kill something and do something anyway. That's actually pretty good for us, all things considered. Because it wasn't another blocker or another threat. Yeah, we know the Mammoth's dead here. That's not even a question. Like, that was all part of the plan. Ooh, now it's... I guess we have to play this as a land. As much as I don't want to, I think it's the correct play here. And hopefully we get something good to play off the top. That's fine. Doesn't help us a ton, but it's something. I mean, do we just attack with both? I mean, if the opponent doesn't block... Man, this feels weird. I'm going to do it, though, because maybe we just win with our Valakut exploration at this point. I don't know. I can't imagine we need the treasure that badly at this point. And we can level up and then also make a 5, or I guess a 6/6 next turn. Anyway, even if we don't find another land. Alright, so there's going to Black Cobra take 2. Okay, we're going to level up. Hopefully this is enough. I have no idea. Wandering Mine. Alright, they can go find another removal card here. This is pretty big. Opponent's at 3. The question then is going to become, can they get rid of Valakut Exploration, and do we get enough triggers off of it for it to matter? Because we very well might not. Oh, but... Well, you can attack and make a treasure here. Okay, they're going to go with Wandering Mine to load their hand up. Sure. Azorius Disruption, we don't really care about. They already have another tapped land. Interesting. I mean, I was going to say, yeah, if you're going to kill the Hellhound, just kill it. I mean, I guess they could do it whenever, so they don't have to be under the crunch, but... Seems a little peculiar. Does that really help? It really doesn't. We almost need to save this until next turn, where maybe they don't have a removal and we could do something. So I think I'm just going to activate. Man, maybe I should have just had the 3/3 all this time. But, you know, what's done is done. And we'll attack for 6, which they have to block. We didn't get a trigger off of our exploration. We found none of our land things, which we have a ton, so that kind of sucks. But this is where we are. Now, the good news is the opponent doesn't have anything great to copy right now. So that's pretty nice, all things considered. They can still also crew with into a 4/4 if they need to. So that's something we have to stay aware of as well. I was going to say, they may not even attack here. Ooh, gross. All right. Let's attack with a 6/6. I mean, they could block, shoot, kill our 6/6, lose their Bank Buster, possibly. And are we okay with that? Like, is that enough for us to be... I guess it has to be, though. We have to cost the opponent resources along the way here. I'm kind of okay with that. And get them to use that Voltaic Surge, so maybe we can spend mana putting Brushfire Elemental out? I don't know. Alright, that makes sense. You can either block with both of those and shoot it, or you can block with a Bank Buster and something and shoot it. Either way, we're getting that spell out of their hand. Ooh, I don't mind this. This is kind of all right. Yeah. Sounds great. Okay. And then I think I'm still going to hold this. The only way this is bad is if we draw like a Shia and then we can't actually use it. But a Shia is going to get countered by this anyway. Right? So yeah, let's just end the turn. I mean, if they got something, they got something. I mean, we're not going to do anything about it. Opponent's at 3, and we've missed 2 turns in a row of no trigger from exploration, which is very sad. Because if we can get one of our fetch lands, that's already 2 points of damage, plus whatever cards we draw that we could possibly cast. So, door's wide open for things to happen here. We just got to find the cards. All right, another Wandering Mine. I mean, as long as they're finding removal and stuff, I guess they're still in it. But I'm not even sure what they're looking for here. All right, another one. Sure. That means our Brushfire Elemental will not get to do what it wants to do, unfortunately. So now we do need to find one of our fetch lands. So we could at least get 2 triggers on the Hellhounds, and they won't die to the Bankbuster getting to block. But then we get 2 cards off the expiration. So like, oh, they're just attacking here? I mean, I guess they figure we have O1s, but like, this is kind of aggressive. Or I mean, maybe they want to copy a Bankbuster and then get to draw a card? Like, yeah, we're just not going to block. I mean, I'm at 19. I mean, they have a lot of cards. I'm willing to gamble here, though. I mean, if they just have multiple removal or something, then so be it. We'll just get got. Okay, now what are the odds they have double disruption? Because this was not something we expected to happen, huh? We have 2, right? We know we have 3. All right, I mean, I guess we got to try. Let's see. I mean, they might just have a straight up counter for it, honestly. We know they're playing the pay 2 or whatever, so this probably gets countered anyway. Yeah, no surprise. No surprise they had a counter. We can live with that. No attacks. Like I said, we need to just draw one of those straight up is what we need. Yep. And you can copy your Wandering Mine. I mean, the good news is their spot removal we've dealt with for the most part. There can't be much left. Okay, well, there's that. I guess there is more. I mean, the whole time we're sitting here with this exploration and we just haven't gotten our damage. Imagine if we find one of our fetch lands and draws into another fetch land. That's literally all we need, right? We've been sitting here for 4 turns waiting to put the opponent away and we're just missing. We're still at 15 life, so we're not dead by any stretch, so that's fine. But yeah, it's very disappointing at the moment. Yep, it's dead. I'm sure they're wondering what's in our hand, too, because we've been sitting here with this for the last 3 turns. But we'll see. I mean, they can copy something here. They can activate a Bankbuster. Minimum, we're going to take 8. We may even take 10. All right. This is the unfortunate part. Like, we literally have had this game in hand the whole time with an uncounterable answer and nothing. Now, here's what's kind of interesting. If the opponent doesn't have another removal card in hand, which I can't imagine they don't if they're taking this line of action, we would be able to get through a Brushfire Elemental for the win by itself, even with just a regular land. All right, come on, deck. Provide oh my gosh. All right, we lose. That sucked. It's unfortunate because I don't believe we can keep this. We're going to have to mull again, I think. Yeah, we've got to mulligan this. As much as I would like to try to convince myself that's a real situation, there's no way. All right, so we're going to keep this for sure. And I think we're just going to put Splendid Reclamation back in because we're going to shuffle it back around anyway with these. So then it's just a matter of which of these do we play first? This only gets a mountain, this gets a forest, so we're definitely playing this on 1. or are we playing this on 1 and then going for... I think we can't. We're pretty light on threats. So I think we're just going to play the Cobra on 2 and see what happens. I mean, I assume our Cobra... Well, I don't know. We're playing against white. Maybe. Maybe the Cobra lives. It's possible. Come on. I was just thinking... Oh, really? Damn it. Why was that the card? Literally, Athalia is just like such a beating for us. I wanted to play this down this turn. Well, I guess we just get to play Kazandu Mammoth, huh? Oh, actually, I guess we still can. Because we have to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. These both only get a mountain, though. That's very disappointing. This is actually kind of tough because if this Cobra dies or gets removed, which it probably will, we end up with no green available. Unless we draw some off of this. Man, I feel like we have to play the Mammoth here. It's going to be one of our only shots. And honestly, them going after our Mammoth... Oh, actually, wait. Riveteur's Outlook. Oh, it does get a forest. Gosh, dang it. I don't know why I thought that was the other one. Oh, well. Well, never mind. We're good to go then. Let's go ahead and do this. And then no attacks. So we'll assume Cobra is going to get removed here. We're going to try to play Mammoth, hope it sticks. Then if it does, we'll try Ashaya and see what happens. Okay, Cobra did not get removed. Opponent is going to attack with a first striker here, so we go to 20. And now, as they say, the game is afoot. I never understood why it's afoot, but it's afoot. Okay. So now we can play both of these and hope to draw something to use the Ashaya with. Or we could... Ashaya... That would use all our mana, though. I think we're good just playing these two. I think I'm kind of okay with that. You know? And we'll just have to draw another land to use Ashaya, I think, is where we are. I mean, we're gaining some life here. That's a tough one to lose, but you know what? Tough breaks. Tough breaks. We go ahead and get a mountain. So we have access to double red in case we need it. Oh, that hurts too. That would have been sick. Alright, well. I guess we play this since we have the opportunity. I was going to play the other thing, but we go ahead and play this because you can't block it. That's for sure. Actually, do we even just attack with the Cobra at this point? Because we don't need the Cobra necessarily, right? Nah. We'll just attack with this. I have a feeling that there's some situations here because if we do get the land, play the Ashaya, it'll allow us to still play the Hellhound and just create more problems for the opponent here. Speaking of which, right on time. Red, I guess. We'll play the Ashaya, which super awesome. Get a bunch of triggers here. Unfortunately, we're losing all of our fetch lands. That's not what we want to see there. This is just going off at this point. I mean, we can't play a second land. Oh, actually, we can because we can tap our creatures. So, yeah, let's do this. More landfall triggers. More mana that we can't do anything with, and we're just going to attack. Alright, opponent goes to a whole 9 and then takes 3 and goes to... Actually, they gain 3, forgot, so they go back to 9. So now every creature is legit. They've got to get rid of Ashaya here. Oh, you can't get rid of Ashaya with that, though. Yeah, that's a real thing to get rid of here, but I don't know if it matters enough. Being at 9 and some big bodies coming across here. And Scoot Swarm's going to be doing some triggering. I mean, not that we can do anything with the mana at this point. We are going to attack with 5, 10, 13, 25, 27. I mean, you block the 3 biggest things, and that's kind of it. And then you're giving us back a 3/3 that won't trigger anything, actually, because token creatures don't do much. I mean, you've kind of got a block opponent. I don't know what their out is here. And this is tough. The opponent played something every turn. We just got a lot of value off of our stuff. Land and... Oh, Brutal Cathar. Yeah, that's way late. I mean, you get a Shia for sure. Yeah, that'll do it. So yeah, that one worked. Now, I will say this. The one thing I will caution you with when you're playing this, so we do know sweepers are still out there, right? Whether we're talking about Doomscar, Depopulate, Meathook Massacre, right? That's going to be an issue. So you do have to play with that in mind. Try to conserve your haste creatures. Try to stick to Valakut exploration, right? So you kind of have to work with all those things. But if you're willing to kind of slow down just a hair and play around that, then you actually can do pretty well. Now, against other creature decks, you can kind of just go ham, I guess, and go for it. But yeah, I think this actually is still playable. And the cool part is people probably own a good amount of these. So you don't have to hunt too far for the cards if you've been playing for the last year or two. So that's actually pretty sweet. So yeah, I would say give this one a look. If you like the other Landfall list, this actually plays pretty cleanly. I will say, though, I am going to probably cut out the Crag Crown Pathways out of the final list. They ended up not coming up enough to matter, and it ultimately didn't affect the games all that much. So I wouldn't really be too concerned about them being in there. I may just replace them with another forest and another mountain, or maybe just 2 forests. I haven't really decided yet. But either way, I think you're going to be able to still play this very well and have no real major issues with this list. This was actually a whole lot of fun, to be honest. Now for today's card spotlight, we're going to talk about Nesting Dragon. And the reason I bring this up is that, other than it just being a landfall dragon and fitting today's theme, is that it actually is pretty damn expensive by comparison for what people would think, because this isn't all that old. I think, when was it? I'm trying to think, look and see when this came, 2018 Commander. So only being a couple of years old, this card is actually still about $13. And it kind of brings me to a point that I tell people, be aware of all the rares and mythics that show up in only the Commander products, because a lot of times they don't have great spots to be reprinted, and they're going to carry a lot of value over the next few years. And this is exactly one of those cards. Now, the ability is actually pretty sweet. When you play a land, you get to make an 0/2 blocker that if it happens to die, you get a dragon with fire breathing, I think. So it's actually pretty cool. And you can set yourself up to survive a board sweeper. So nothing wrong with the card at all, just from a play standpoint. But a lot of people don't know that it's actually worth 12 to 13 bucks, so there's that. So anyway, hopefully if you have some of these, you dig them up and either trade them or put them to use. Now don't forget, like always, you will be able to get today's deck list down in the description below, and you can always come by our Discord and come hang out, talk about today's deck, or even bring your own, or just join our streams and be part of all the shenanigans. But if you do like this Landfall deck, I'm going to go ahead and link one of our other Landfall decks that a lot of people seem to enjoy as well, because you'll probably like that one. That's all we have for now. We'll see you next time.